Hi everyone, I'm Matthew Kaufman. Welcome to this edition of the Cultural Cannabis Project. Residents in states like Washington, Oregon, and Colorado have become accustomed to terms like cannabis concentrates or cannabis extracts. But for people in states that have yet to even explore the medicinal benefits of cannabis, these terms may as well be a foreign language. This, of course, hasn't stopped prohibitionists from trying to spread their lies and negative propaganda on the topic. I was contacted by somebody recently from Florida who'd read somewhere online that cannabis concentrates are easily confused with lip balm. After a little bit of a chuckle, I assured them that although anything is pretty much possible, it's highly unlikely. To that end, though, we wanted to bring someone on who's truly knowledgeable and trustworthy to help dispel some of the rumors and clear the air surrounding cannabis concentrates. And who's more knowledgeable and trustworthy than Grandma? Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Grandma Kat Jeter to the show. Grandma, thank you so much for being with us today.
It is my pleasure.
Grandma Kat, tell us a little bit about your experience with cannabis, and if you would please explain what cannabis concentrates are.
I am a 42-year cannabis consumer. I found cannabis the weekend that I graduated from high school in 1973 and knew that I found something that felt much better to me recreationally than alcohol did. And to that end, I have never really quit consuming cannabis throughout my life. It was recreational for the first 30 years, and in the last 10 years I found that medicinally it is the best answer for me rather than prescriptive solutions.
4 decades of experience, that's quite a bit of experience.
It is. Also, I was a dumb nugget, and I also smoked cigarettes most of my life. A couple of years ago, my lungs began becoming very, very compromised, and I found that I needed to look for a new way to consume cannabis. One of the ways that I found was concentrates, as we were coming up with these very clear shatter wax elixirs of mostly exclusively cannabinoids. And that's exactly, if you will, what a concentrate is. Now we have some new ways of doing it that are super pure, but just like in days of old, when Grandma made a tincture or made a full plant extract, those too are extracts or concentrates. Even making butter is an extract. You are literally taking the finest little scalpel ever and scraping the trichomes off of a plant, and then what you've got left there on your little scalpel, you can either dab on a hot titanium skillet or another hot device, or you can put it in something and bake it and avail yourself of it that way.
Well, now, that sounds an awful lot like hash to me, what you just described there, what you're smoking.
Old school concentrates, they were doing that 4,000 years ago. We've got science. So now we do it with chemicals, and we have testing analysis so that we can make certain that your concentrates are clear and purged of all solvents that we would not want to leave behind. Everything gets better, right?
So a different terminology, maybe different machines to do it, but no more to fear than hash, is that right?
Nothing more to fear at hash. Hash is trichomes. That's what we do when we make BHOs or propane hash oils.
You think there's any danger of anybody mistaking it for lip balm?
Maybe only after a couple too many dabs.
Well, now one traditional method, like you mentioned, for consuming cannabis concentrates is called dabbing, which is basically you take the concentrate and you put it on a titanium nail, it's a titanium bowl, and smoke it at a very hot temperature. Are there other methods for consuming concentrates that you could recommend that are a little less intimidating?
Of course. One of the things that you may not know, but most manufacturers start with concentrates now. It's how we stabilize our product. It's how we test it. We know what the content of our cannabinoids are, right, and we will mix it or calibrate it so that then we can use it in a product downstream, right? So almost anything that you would get in a collective other than a raw vegetative matter has probably been turned into a concentrate somewhere along the way so that we can get the dosing exactly right.
So essentially, concentrates are tied into edibles, almost anything you see at a cannabis shop.
Of course, I have friends who make chocolates. They start with BHO. I have friends who make lip balms. Maybe this is where they got it. They put a little full plant extract into it. I have friends and acquaintances who make hard candies or capsules. They too start with a concentrate and thin it with another carrier, such as coconut oil or a sugar water in the case of candies.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much for being with us. This is just one episode that I hope that we'll be doing quite a few together. You have so much knowledge. I need to learn from you. Folks, that's been Cannabis Concentrates with Grandma. Thanks so much for tuning into the Cultural Cannabis Project. I'm Matthew Kaufman. See you next time.